Hello, I'm Devan. Today I will talk about the two interesting legal business laws which companies should consider while setting a new venture in Bangladesh. So before talking about the two interesting business laws in Bangladesh, I would like to tell you about what is business law. Business law is the legal framework that governs business activities, transactions, and relationships. It provides a set of guidelines and standards that business must adhere in order to operate legally and ethically. Business laws varies across jurisdictions as different countries may have their own legal system and regulation. And business law differs countries to countries, like there are very similarities and dissimilarities among the business laws of Bangladesh and Canada. Now I would like to talk about some common business laws in Bangladesh. Among them, the Company Act 1994 is the most used business law in Bangladesh, because if any company wants to register in Bangladesh for expanding their business, they have to follow this Company Act. The second one is Contract Act 1872. It's a bit old law, but it still follows in our country. Then the third law is intellectual property law. Bangladesh is very concerned uh, to protect the intellectual property of us, and that's why there are few intellectual property laws like the Copyright Act 2000. And the fourth thing is Bangladesh Labor Act 2006. There they mention about the minimum wages and how many hours a laborer should work a day. And the fifth is export incentive law. It is an interesting law in Bangladesh. Bangladesh government always try to encourage the business owners to export their product from Bangladesh, and they are providing huge incentive on based of their export. And the last one is the Essential Articles Act 1953. So in this article, our government provide many small and critical rules which business must have to adhere while expanding their business in Bangladesh. Among them, the MRP law is very commonly used in our country. Now there might be a question why I choose Bangladesh. There are few common reasons for choosing Bangladesh. Among them, the first one is easy foreign ownership. So our government always encourages foreign investor to invest in our country. That's why it's very easy to start a new venture from other country to Bangladesh. Attractiveness for foreign direct investor. We have specific economic zones which are allocated for the foreign investor, and it's very useful, and it is very beneficial for the foreign exporters, foreign business owners to expand their business in our country. We have a huge amount of population, which leads to low cost labor force, and our minimum wage is lower than like $10 a day. Tax incentive for firms in economic zone. If foreign investor invest in the economic zone of Bangladesh, they can get tax incentive up to 10 years. Strategic location for land and sea trade. We have a very versatile location in our country. Bangladesh is situated at the Bay of Bengal, and it is surrounded by one of the largest countries in the world, India. So it's very easy to export our goods in India and other Asian countries. And also we are very lucky to have the Bay of Bengal. That's why we can easily export our goods through Bay of Bengal to European region as well. And as I told you that we have a huge amount of growing population, which help us to reduce the labor cost and our external cost as well, like the transportation cost. Transportation is a very common thing in our country. Like people can get their reliable transportation at any time, because we have a huge amount of population, and we are very dependent on these transportation things. Okay, let's talk about the first business law, which is different from Canada. The first one is cash incentive against export. Bangladesh, as I told you, that Bangladesh government uh, always try to encourage the exporters to increase the exportation amounts of goods, and it will eventually beneficial for our government, because by exporting goods we can increase our foreign reserve as well. So Bangladesh government has selected 42 sectors which are eligible for getting cash incentive against their export. The government offers 1 to 20% of cash incentive against the export, and there is few conditions which the companies have to meet to get this cash incentive uh, support from our government. And the main rules or the main condition is the companies must have to use at least 30% of local product, which will counted as value addition. And if the company can can use at least 30% of this of our local product, they are eligible for getting this export incentive. So like how a Canadian company can be benefited by this law. So Canada ranked number 11 in the world in automobile manufacturing industry. So the Canadian automobile manufacturing industry can use this opportunity, and they can expand their business to Bangladesh. They can expand their business in the economic zone of Bangladesh. That's how they can get the tax rebate. And on the other hand, we have 10% cash incentive against the exportation of automobile industry. Like they can export cars, and they can also export the parts of cars, and they can easily get 10% of cash incentive against their exportation. And our government gives this incentive based on the total selling price. So eventually the company can earn extra 10% on top of their revenue. The second thing is Canada ranked for fifth largest country which export agricultural goods, and there are few agricultural farms in Canada, like Sunworks Farm, then Terribly Lavender Farm, and others. So they can start a new venture in Bangladesh, because uh, Bangladesh is very favorable country for this for agricultural things, because we have a weather which is not too warm or not too cold. So it's easy to grow crops there, and if the companies can grow crops in Bangladesh and they can export those in other countries, they can get 20% of incentive based on their exportation goods. Talking about the pharmaceuticals industry, it's the ninth largest industry in Canada, and we also have incentive for this pharmaceuticals goods, and the amount of incentive is 10%. So the companies can relocate their ventures, or they can start new ventures, new operations in Bangladesh, and they can easily get 10% incentive on pharmaceuticals goods if they can export those things to other countries. So the second rules, which I think it's different from Canada, it's the Essential Article Act 1953, which was made for controlling the price and LTND holdering. So printing the MRP price on the package of commodity is widely popular and practiced in Bangladesh. What is MRP price? MRP means the maximum retail price. So not mentioning the MRP price, including VAT on the product, on the package of the product, is treated as a crime in Bangladesh, and our government can sue those companies for doing this such of acts. To set up a new business venture in Bangladesh, company must have to know about these rules, because like if we see in Canada, the same product Walmart is selling it at a different price, the Freshco No Freeze they're selling at the other different prices for the same product. So there is some hassle, and we as a buyer have to face the hassle. So there is no confusion between the prices in Bangladesh, because of this rule, because we have to mention the product price in every package of the product, so any store can sell at the same price. So it's in favor of the customers and consumers, but it is also beneficial for the companies, because they can sell their product at the highest revenuable point or margin. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate your effort. And there are a few references by which I was described about these rules. Like the first one describes the MRP law in Bangladesh. The second one, eligible products for export cash incentive subsidiaries from the government. and the fourth one is why MNC should consider Bangladesh as their new venture, and the sixth one is the vehicle production ranking of Bangladesh, and the last one is Canada's rank in agricultural product. So thank you again for your time and patience. Hope you enjoy this video.